All right, NES Maker users, we are going to dip into week number 2 of learning how to make NES games fast using NES Maker. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far. Like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. It definitely helps. Let me know that these are working for you. Leave comments, share them with your friends. We are in week 2, and what I want to do is I want to start turning a corner into the creative. Let's take a look at this real quick. So if we are using this series to do Game Jam or Bite Off or a hackathon, and we want to be moving fast, we've now got a basic sort of mechanical demo where we can move, and we got a power up that we can collect, and we got monsters that we can slay, and items that we can get, and ways that we could die, and advanced levels. So we've technically got sort of a method to win and lose and whatever. Now we want to start making a game out of this thing, and it's not a game yet. It's just a mechanics demo at this point, right? So let's start thinking about this in terms of making a game and what we could do to make this a lot more interesting, as far as building some kind of narrative out of this. So I'm going to walk through making some animations for our character, and to do that, I'm going to show you a nice trick I like to use. I go to my pixel editor, and I make a new BMP 128 by 128, and I call this a canvas. So I can do as much art as I want on here, and it's not actually erasing any of these necessary files that this project's going to need. This is going to be an additional file that I could just play around on and get some ideas and iterate on a little bit. I'm also going to switch over into my monster palettes here, and I'm going to stick with this same monster palette, but we're going to do something much more interesting. Always, I think the most important thing is to get some sort of iconic silhouette of your character. We're going to be having him moving down and right and left and up. And so I'm going to start with sort of his front pose. And when I say iconic silhouette, I'm going to zoom way in. And I'm going to think about, what am I actually looking for here in terms of character? Let me turn on Naval Palette Translation. Am I looking for sort of like a realistic sort of sized character, and I'm just going to sort of outline a shape here. Am I looking for sort of realistic shape and size body, and then, legs with some feet? Is this sort of what I'm going for? Obviously my feet are comically large, but am I going for this size? Am I going for more of a manga deformed? These are some of the decisions that I want to start with. Like, this would be sort of large head, and I'll make it more circular. Large head like this with, smaller body, and maybe we wouldn't even have a neck, just go sort of straight into the body. And I got a feeling that in order to make this sort of expressive, this is where I want to live. I want to have something that's relatively, this shape, even though I'm going to have to get way more defined to make this iconic. But we're starting to get into that sort of almost Mega Man kind of look. And it's a comically large head, but this obviously doesn't scream anything unique. But I'm not going to edit it. This is generally a starting point. So I'm going to use my my tile selection, copy that guy, paste him. And I'm going to refine this until I get something that I like. I'm going to use black, and I'm going to say, you know what, maybe I do want him to have a little bit more of a neck. Yeah, I actually like that better. Maybe the head's a little bit too big. Is that true? Come on. Sorry, my mouse is being a little sticky here. Maybe I like that a little bit better. But that could be a little bit of space to work on as far as the head. Do I want him to be jacked and muscular? Do I want him to be whatever? Do I want him to sort of be angled in a direction? Do I like his legs? This is where I'm starting to make some of these decisions. But I'm not stuck to anything. I'll refine this as I go. So let me take that. Copy that one. All right, so now let's give this character some flavor. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll just use these colors and start pushing him in. So I want this guy, he's facing forward at this point. It's directly forward. So I'm going to use an outline. So for now at least, I can start to put in a skin tone here, like this. And I know at least he's going to have hands. I don't know what I'm going to do with his body, and this is some kind of neck, so maybe this is what he looks like, maybe something like this. And now all of a sudden that's not looking quite round enough, so let me do that. And again, this will give me some room to play with hair or something like that. Okay, so notice I'm going to just keep sort of iterating on this guy. Now, I don't know if this little space is going to give me enough space to make enough of a detail as far as facial expression. And it's really not. Like I can't really get a whole lot of detail, and that looks weird, right? So now I'm thinking I got to go back to the larger size head. So I'm going to come back, and I like that as a decision, but it's not really going to work for my character. So none of these things have to be sort of set in stone. This will give me a lot more room to make this an iconic character. And depending on the kind of character that you want, that's completely different. So now at least I have, something like that. And I could even go up. I'm going to keep it relatively proportional. So maybe I won't even put a mouth in there. And maybe what I'll do is something like that. Okay, so now I've got these colors here. What am I actually going to do with this guy? I'm not going to worry about a mouth, but I do kind of want to worry about hair. And I'll use this sort of dark color for hair. And I want to give him sort of an emo look here. I'll have this kind of come out like that. And maybe flip it in the back. I don't know. Maybe like that. Okay, this looks kind of something. And nope, now he starts to look very feminine with that cut. And there's no way to get sort of an ear in here. You can kind of see the problem I'm going to have with getting an ear in here. Well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's actually not too bad. And maybe something like that. Okay, so that's a character. It's got character sort of traits. Now, what kind of game am I making? I don't know. What do I want this guy to be? A knight, pirate, teenager? Let's make him just a normal sort of teenager with a t-shirt and jeans on. So I'm gonna give him some arms here. Let's see. Give him some arms like that. Now he looks way too buff, so I don't really like that. That's a little bit better. And I want to give him a red shirt because he'll be wearing jeans. And I'll come down like that. And now he's got jeans on. And maybe I would even give him red shoes just so he stands out. Okay, so now I've got a character. Now, I'm not saying that's a great character. That's a fast character. And now what I've done is I've used this. And if I really wanted to put a mouth in here, I could probably get away with doing this and going no neck. You know what? I'm going to iterate. I'm going to follow my own rules. I'm going to iterate, and I'm going to see which do I like better, with a mouth and a little bit bigger of a head, or without a mouth, without a neck. Oops. Now I can start making these decisions. Does he look better like this? Maybe he's smirking. Maybe he's got sort of a smirk, or maybe he's got to smirk the other way to counterbalance the hair, to sort of balance that out. So anyway, I kind of like the smirk. All right, let's keep that. I don't love him, but he's fine. So now I got to deal with sort of walk cycles, right? So what I've got to do is, in a very simple walk cycle, front arm is going to be forward and this leg is going to be back, right? And this arm is going to be back and this leg is going to be forward. So we want the opposite to sort of happen. And also what generally happens is when he's in his sort of crossing phase, his head is going to be lower, and when his feet are together, he's going to be a little bit higher, and when his legs are apart, he's going to be a little bit lower. You can almost imagine the sort of bounce that he has when his legs are coming back together. So this is him together, and I'll use my idle frame as the same as my crossing frame, which will save you tiles. It doesn't look great, but it'll save you tiles. But what I do want to do is I want to take his head, and I just use the regular selection tool, and I'm going to make it come down by a pixel, and then I'm going to make the top row black like this. And now I've got, a little bit of movement with that. And I'm going to make this arm coming forward. So I won't erase anything except for this arm, and I'll imagine what this might look like if it was coming towards me. It's actually not going to look all that different. Oops. Like this. And this arm is going to be sort of behind me. Maybe I do this. And this arm's going to be somewhat behind me. And then I've got to do the opposite with the leg. So this leg is going to be forward. So it's almost like the bottom of his shoe right there. And this leg will be sort of backwards. Now this is not high art here by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just demonstrating sort of more of a thought process behind how I would go about creating these sort of graphics that I am actually like making great graphics. Don't love that. I gotta sort of do this, and now I'm sort of getting somewhere. And I might want to show somehow that this is more forward. Like I might take some liberty with this to show that this arm, and maybe again like that kind of thing, so you can really see that this arm's forward. I think that might be overcompensating, but you get the idea. You could try a couple of things. But I've got this, and I don't need to flip it because I could actually use this, and I could just flip if he lines up on the line, which he does. So I can keep this way, and I can just flip these in the object creator. So now I've got forward, and that's great. And I'll tell you what, the easiest thing to do, by the way, is backwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this character, and I'm going to copy both frames. And I'll put him here. This is going to be backwards. And to make backwards, all you really have to do, this is just a neat trick, is all you have to do is pretend that you're looking at the back of his head with his hair. And so you might just see a little bit of neck. You might see his ears. You probably wouldn't even see the ears. It would look like that. And same thing over here. All I'm doing is I just got to fill in and leave a spot where his neck would be. And you might have to get a little bit more creative than this. Like you might have to, make the collar down in the front and go up in the back or something, but generally this will work pretty good. This suggests I'm looking that way and I'm running that way. So neat trick. Harder is definitely to the side. So what I'm going to do is I need to sort of evaluate where my character is. So I'm going to use red because I'm not really using red in the head. So side view, first frame, there's my head right there. Sorry, that's my head and my side view right there. So I know that that's the size of the head, and then I've got my arms, which come to about here, and the legs. So now I can actually start to muscle this in. How does this character look from the side? And you know what? I'm going to use the same trick. I'm going to use just blocking this in to create an iconic silhouette. You kind of see that would kind of be like where this is. And then what I would have is maybe I would have almost a Mega Man stance. Not quite a Mega Man stance, but like this kind of thing where I would have his hand and this hand like this, and then I can start filling in his face. And now there's some decisions to make. Like, do you want the outline for the side view? We're definitely going to need an ear on the side view. Absolutely going to need the ear on the side view. And we want the hair to come down to about the same spot. And that generally looks pretty good. But I'm not selling the coif over here. So I've got to kind of do that a little bit. And maybe this. I'm definitely not selling the smirk. But you know what? For quick and dirty, I'm just giving you sort of concepts of how I might approach this. So do I want that? I don't have an outline here, so maybe I wouldn't need it here. But what I'm going to need, here is, I'm going to have to make some decisions about how I'm suggesting that this arm is sort of behind, and that's where I could use this blue, like this, or maybe like this, or maybe like this. And I can see that this arm is behind the body, like that, something like that. Not great, don't love it, but you can kind of see how this and this are sort of related to each other. I kind of want to come down like this more. Kind of almost don't even want to have that line. That actually more closely resembles him. And I can even at this point probably get this. Yeah, I mean, that's not great because maybe I could do that. There you go. So now I've got this guy facing sideways. Again, it's not high art. I'm just going for quick. And the last thing I got to do is match his shoes, which are here. And if I really want to match his shoes, then they're not really coming like that. There we go. And if I do that, then probably what I'm seeing is I'm probably seeing the other shoe come down. So it's going to look kind of like this, which is going to look weird. There's really no way to avoid it looking weird with these few colors. So I don't love that. So now I just have to make I could go and I could do a 4-frame walk cycle with one arm because going sideways, we're going to deal with one arm swinging back and forth. But honestly, I'm just going to make a 2-frame walk cycle, and you'll get the idea of what I'm doing. And this is a lot better than my square man that I was doing, right? So same tricks. I'm going to copy this guy, and I'm going to paste him here, and I'm going to take his head, copy it, and paste it down a pixel. And I'm going to do this. And now what I want to do is I want to really sell that his arms are in motion. So what I'll do is almost exaggerate the arm. Let's see. So I'll do this. And this one's going to be almost a right angle going downwards like this. And you guys have seen this like Wreck-It Ralph style arms. It's not going to be great with this art style. I'm not really taking a lot of care with how this is being constructed, but hopefully it'll give you like some ideas of how to make something that looks better than the square man that we've got. And now I got to do the same thing with my legs. Like, so this far arm is forward, which means this close leg is going to be forward. So I kind of have to do this and sell it with the shoe like this. And usually I won't have a shoe going straight up. Like, it'll be more like that. And then this is the back foot this way. And this will be a shoe kind of going down like that. And this isn't the great. I don't love it. It is a thing. It's a character. So this will turn into that, and it'll come back to this. And I might play around with this a little bit. In fact, I'm going to. We got time, right? I know I said 20 minutes, but that's a little bit too much of a split, right? So what I could do is I can kind of give him like a knee, a higher knee, like that comes up, and kind of make his leg, like his foot, like that, maybe. And then that would make this leg, I could be a little bit more loose with it this way. And again, it's not great, but this will kind of look like something. Now I don't like the arm because now it looks like the arm goes way too far. So what I'll have to do is I'll have to fill that a little bit closer. Like that, maybe. Again, don't love it, but like it enough. You can push pixels all day. It's good enough. So what I've got now is I've got a up and down and up and down and left and right, which I can flip. My goal here is to show you how to implement this into your actual character so we can have your character running around. So now that we've done a tiny little bit of pixel art examination of how we might create some pixel art, I'm going to then go to add a tab. I could save this, by the way, and I'd have to save as because there's no choice to save it. So I might just save it as canvas player tests. And now I'm going to go to a new tab and I'm going to open up my game object tiles, which right now has this guy. And what I'll do is I'm going to copy this guy, all the good frames. It was this one, this one, this one, this one. Copy those, paste them in here. And I also want to copy these ones, and I'll paste them in there. And you know what else I'm going to need is sort of this death animation, right? Because we made a death animation with this 4-frame death animation. But what I'll do is I'll make a spinning animation, and that'll be it. And then maybe I'll make just like he's forward, but he's on his knees. So what I'll do is I'll take this one, I'll copy it, and I'm just literally going to get rid of the bottom. And I'm going to make him sort of go down like this. Oops. Too far, like this. And I'm going to make him sort of like sprawled out like this. And his legs, I'm doing a really crappy job of this, but like he's falling. And I'm going to make his eyes just close like this. And maybe I'll make his mouth really thin now, like that. So we can tell. And, I'm going to make it look like his hair is down one shade like this. So now his ears will be down like this. And so he's kind of like looking down. That kind of looks like an alien. So I have to fix that a little bit, but you get the idea. Okay. So now he's just kind of collapsed. And so I'm going to get that character too. And we're going to make this go a little bit longer than 20 minutes, I hope, because we're at 20 minutes, but I definitely want to get this guy in the game. And I took a little bit longer than I wanted to in sort of making a character. So actually, you know what? No, we're going to stop there for tonight. So all we really did was we made a canvas for our character, and then we copied them into our game object tiles. What I did was I showed you a couple of tricks on how to sort of make sure that we're lining up, the head and the body and the legs, and then copying them into our game object tiles and making sure that we've got all of our tiles selected. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're actually going to integrate this guy into our game objects. We're going to make him have idle stances in all four directions. Then we're going to make him sort of oscillate between different things for running. And then we're going to also give him this sort of spin, death state. And so we'll pick that up tomorrow because we are at 20 minutes and I want to keep these to 20 minutes. So basically today was a creative day to make this guy look like something. Tomorrow we'll be implementing it into the script and then make him also change his animations. When you start moving, we want him to change to walking, and we stop moving. We stop holding the button. We want him to change back to idle and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get that tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys are enjoying the series, and I hope the creative part is beneficial to you guys as well. Thanks.